Good evening. Welcome to Friday's Hope, a place where we share hope for everybody, everywhere, in every situation, regardless of what's going on. I am Sue Barnhart, one of the elders at the Worship Center here in Northern Illinois. And it has been a frustrating week. Well, week and a half, maybe, something like that. It just has been extremely frustrating. And so I thought I'd share a little bit about it and just share kind of what I've been going through a little bit and how to deal with it and what works and what doesn't work. I've even learned some things myself, which is a good thing because if you don't keep learning, it's difficult for you to keep teaching. So let me share with you some of the things that happened this week. I was going to the next town over. My granddaughter had come in town. Her daughter, my great granddaughter, had a doctor's appointment. She has her eye doctor is in my town, even though she doesn't live here. And my granddaughter asked me if I wanted to have brunch with her after her daughter got done with the eye doctor. I said, absolutely. So we went, we had brunch, and then I was going to follow her to the following next town because we were all going to go shopping together. So my great granddaughter was in my car with me, and I'm driving down the highway like I've done a million times. And all of a sudden, this message flashed across my, sorry, I'm not sure what's going on with my nose, across my dashboard that said low oil pressure, stop driving your car. I'm in the country. I'm not even close to a town gas station auto parts store. Nothing. Zip. And I have my great granddaughter in the car with me. Well, she didn't know what was going on. She had her headphones on. She was listening to music, etc., etc. So I just told her, I said, we're going to have to go back to the town to get some oil in my car. So long story short, and I called her mother and said, I'm going to be late. And so by then, she was in the neighboring town already in the first store. So I headed back to my town, flashers on, going very, very slow, praying that I don't do any damage to my car because I know it's not safe. Now, I want to stop here for a second. I service my car on a regular basis. I take very good care of my vehicles because they're going to last me for a while. I only have, I think it's 57,000 miles on this 2019 Nissan. And I've serviced it every time it's needed. I had a free service plan on top of it, so I utilize that. So it's not like I haven't taken care of this thing. And I've put new tires on it. I actually had to have my radiator totally tore apart because somewhere along the line it developed a leak. So I take care of my cars. Anyway, so I'm driving to the back to town, praying I get back there safely, don't damage my car. And I was able to get through all the stoplights and right across the street to the auto parts store. Love these guys in this place. So good to me. By the way, that's God's favor too, if you're treated well in a business. And if people follow you into that business, that's God's favor for them too. Anyway, a nice young man came out, pulled out my dipstick, and there was a drop on the end of it. 4 quarts later, I was back on the road, and I met my granddaughter halfway to the neighboring town, and my great-granddaughter jumped out of my car and into hers, and I went back home. And I spent the next week and a half playing Susie Mechanic, checking my oil every other day and putting a quart in it. Somewhere along the line, I had developed a leak. Like I said, I service my cars. And the reason I was checking my oil for about a week and a half is because my mechanic, who I will wait for till the ends of the earth to service my car, was so busy he couldn't even see my car until yesterday. Yeah. So I am checking my oil every other day. I had put oil in it. Um, let's see, I took it in yesterday. I had checked oil Monday and it was already low again. Anyway, long story short, thank God, God got me through. My oil filter went bad, the one that the place put on for me where I had my service program through, my maintenance program through. My oil filter went bad. It was just letting oil out all by itself, all over the place. So my mechanic put on a new oil filter. Now here's the other thing. I did not know what was going on, and I had no idea how much this was going to cost. And ladies and gentlemen, I live on a limited budget. So I canceled a hair appointment. I canceled a time with my great granddaughter. I was supposed to go to school and be with her for the book fair. I canceled several things because I didn't know how much money this was going to cost me to fix it. And so I took care of all that. Well, it cost me $29. That's it for an oil filter and then putting it on. I took it in at 7:30. It was done by 10. And he does that. He does God's favor again. So I get to go back. I get to, redo what I was doing. But it just was irritating for a week and a half checking my oil. But I knew I had to. And I had to put oil in it every time. Every time. But thank God he kept me safe. And he kept my great-great-granddaughter safe too while we were in the car together. Another example. So there was this movie I wanted to see, and I invited a bunch of girls. Hey, let's go watch a movie. And the one friend that could go, I went and picked her up because she didn't like driving at night. And now, before we ever got to this movie, I checked the internet several times to see what time this movie started. I put in the correct zip code because the name of the town has several towns throughout the United States with the same name. So I put in the correct zip code, I checked everything, I got the time. Picked up my friend, we headed to the next town over. I dropped her off at the door because she struggles to walk a little bit, so I dropped her off. Parked my car, I'm walking up to the door. She's coming back out. What in the world? Why is she coming back out? The internet was wrong. The movie had started 45 minutes before that, and the next one wasn't going to be until late, late evening. So we went and had coffee. Not what I wanted to do that night. I wanted to see this movie. I guess I'm going to see it on a streaming site, aren't I? Maybe I'll invite a bunch over for popcorn and something the night it's on. But anyway, that was another thing. Not a big deal, but just kind of frustrating. Just kind of frustrating. So I was working on a computer, putting some information in at the church office. And this computer gives all of us some trouble. We probably need to replace this computer. But it is what it is, and it does what it does. And I was having a lot of hard time with it. It was really just slow, and I wasn't getting the information in, and when I did, it didn't size the wording so it would show on the whole screen. It's for the announcements for our church. For everybody, so it's a little deal. And so I was struggling with it. I had this one page that I wanted to actually break up the announcements. Now, I started this at about 2 o'clock. And I wanted to break up the announcements because there's a lot of them on that one page, and it would be hard for people to read that. And I got this message flashed across this screen. I'm having a lot of things flash across screens. I was locked out of the program. I apparently did something wrong. I have no idea what now. What happened? I was locked out of the program. Couldn't get out of the program, couldn't X anything out, couldn't central alt deleted out, nothing. So I just had to push the button and turn off the whole laptop, the whole computer, everything. Walked away because I was pretty frustrated by then. That's one tip if you get frustrated. Came back later and laptop came up, got to the program. Everything I put on did not save. 14 slides I had to redo. Yeah. And I had to rearrange the order because of what's going on this next few weeks. I got it done, but very frustrating project, very frustrating program. Let's see, what else? A friend of mine was walking along and fell and injured herself. We're using a walker now. Another friend of mine had a group of people make a horrible decision about one of their family members that'll change the life of that person and the family for a very long time. And it's not a very, and I've known this person that the decision was made for since they were young, very young. Just broke our hearts. Just broke our hearts that those decisions were made. And so we're continuing to pray for the family and for my friend and for this person that the decision was made. So, and I know those aren't major deals, but with me, they all happen within a short amount of time. Boom, 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 boom. And things like I've been extremely busy, so my apartment's a wreck. Things like that nothing else is getting done except me moving and taking care of things, which I don't mind, and I am going to do some other things. But when you run into frustrating times, and maybe it's difficult times, maybe it's more than frustrating, maybe it's a very deep, difficult thing, what do you do? What can you do to help you through that? Well, let me tell you what they said. The psychologists say, and I don't know if any of you who are parents read this book, What Do We Do When We Have a Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day? And mine was a week and a half. What do you do? So the first thing that I was on an American Psychologist site, says be kind to yourself. Isn't that interesting? Be kind to yourself. You know, it says some people are better at dealing with frustrations than others. So don't be too hard on yourself. If your tolerance is low or unpredictable, and lower or unpredictable than a friend, don't be too hard on yourself. Remind yourself that it might take some time for the stressful situation to resolve, and be patient with yourself in the meantime. I don't do that well. I don't blame myself, because life is life, you know. All of these things are just life happenings. They're nothing I created. Like I said, with my car, I service it regularly. It was just a bad oil filter. It was just a bad, timing. But I don't stop and be kind to myself. I keep pushing through. That's what I do. I don't blame myself. I don't pick on myself. I don't say, well, you should have done this, that, and the other thing. No. But I'm not very kind to myself, because I just keep moving instead of dealing with it. That's not healthy. So be kind to yourself. If you had some struggles, I know my friends that are struggling with some things, man, what they're going through is a whole lot deeper than what I'm going through, but be kind to yourself, guys. Take care of yourself. Reflect on past successes. Chances are you've overcome some other stressful events in the past and you survived. Give yourself credit. Reflect on what you did during that event that was helpful and what you might like to do differently this time. What worked the last time for you? because there was a last time. What worked the last time for you? Do it this time. It might help. Or tweak it and find something different to do. But give yourself some credit. You got through it. Reflect on what you did during that event that was helpful, and you might like to do something different this time. But you got through it. Here we are again. We're getting through it. Here's one of my big ones that I tell everybody all the time. Limit exposure to the news. Oh my gosh, the news lately. I can't get away from it. I keep getting pop-ups. I'm going to take care of those soon. My email main page, my email itself, texting, so many things about what's going on in the world. I don't need that much information. I don't. I just need to know the facts, thank you, and then I'll pray for them. Okay? So when we're stressed about something, it can be hard to look away. By compulsively checking the news only keeps you wound up. Try to limit your check-ins and avoid the news during vulnerable times of the day, such as right before bedtime. If we're already dealing with bad news, why are we on the TV or the social media site or the phone or the tablet or the laptop or whatever, looking at more bad news, listening to more bad news? No, that's not the way your mind heals. Right now I've got some videos going of some positive Christian music. I have to turn it down because Facebook obliterates me if they hear any copyrighted music. But I was listening to some stuff, that just really helped. So, just don't pour any more negative stuff in your head. Pour the positive stuff. It's going to help. It's going to help your mind. It's going to help you heal. It's going to give you hope. Isn't that what this is about? Friday's Hope? Pour positive stuff in you while you're going through a difficult time, especially right before bedtime. What do you watch or listen to right before bedtime? So many people watch their TV until their TV's watching them, is the way they put it. That's fine, but what are you watching? Is this something that'll help encourage you and strengthen you? Be picky about what you're hearing and listening to. Avoid dwelling on things you can't control. Yes. When things happen, many people imagine the worst case scenarios. Quit that. It didn't happen. Stop dwelling on that stuff. Yes, it could have, but it didn't, so don't dwell on that. Get out of the habit of ruminating on negative events. There's a lot of things that could have happened when I'm on a country road trying to get back to town to get some oil in my car, but it didn't. God took care of me. There's a lot of things that could have happened between the time I made the appointment with my mechanic and me being Susie Mechanic checking my oil every other day. But it didn't. You know what else didn't happen? I didn't have to worry about the money. God supplied my needs. Amazing. Amazing. So don't ruminate on negative events. Take your own advice, by the way. I'm not real good at that all the time, but I'm learning. Ask yourself, if a friend came to you with this worry, what would I tell them? What would you tell your friend if they came to you? Do the same thing. Do the same thing. What would I tell them? Imagining your situation from the outside can often provide perspective and fresh ideas. So kind of take yourself out of the picture and kind of figure out what you would tell somebody if they just went through the week you went through, or if they're going through what you're going through. I've been very grateful that those things only lasted a little while. But what would you tell your friend? Do it. If you think you're telling your friend and you believe it works, do it. Do it for yourself. This is one of my favorite ones. Engage in self-care. I love this idea. I love it. Don't let stress derail your healthy routines. Keep eating well, keep exercising, get enough sleep, and meditate. You know me, meditate on God's promises, because His Word is living and active and has promises in it for us. But you know what else engaging in self-care is for me? And this is something I want to share with you. What is self-care for you? What tells you that you're taking care of yourself? For me, I know this is crazy, I love wonderful smells. I have candles all over the place. I don't burn them very often, but when I'm stressed, I light some of the ones that have the nicest smell to them, the nicest fragrance to them. I love that. Another one, I love to wrap up in a blanket. Yes, I know it's getting warm out, and it's crazy to use a blanket this time of the year, but I like to feel the warmth. I like to be wrapped up in it. That's my self-care. There might be some chocolate ice cream involved. I have a half gallon in my freezer, so there might be some involved later on. What is your self-care? And again, stay healthy. Do what you need to do to stay healthy and strong. But find out what your self-care is that makes you happy. Some people, it's spending money. That's not me. I don't like to spend money. I like to save money. That's my self-care. Taking a nap. Love naps. I'll take 15-minute naps if I can. Turning everything off and having this place absolutely dead quiet. Love it. So find out what your self-care is and do that when you're going through a tough situation. I'm one that I'll keep pushing and pushing and pushing, trying to fix things. And don't do that. Don't do that. It's not going to help. Take it from me. It's not going to help. So anyway, so let me share some scriptures with you, because I got to get God's Word in here, because it's the only thing I rely on. I'm useless most days on how to take care of these things, besides go to God, who's there and willing to help all of us. I know how to do this, yeah, but why would I want to do it on my own when I have the living God who can help me? 2 Corinthians 12:9, but He said to me, my grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in weakness. Hello, weak me. Therefore, I will always boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. Wow. I couldn't do anything out there on the highway with my granddaughter and having a car that said stop driving it, but I sure could pray us back into town. My grace is sufficient for you. Somebody said, well, you're real lucky you made it in town. You didn't blow up your car. No, I'm not lucky. I'm blessed, and I'm protected, and so are you. 1 Thessalonians 3:16, now may the Lord of peace Himself give you peace at all times in every way. In every way. Susie Mechanic time, no oil, dealing with computers and programs and everything that I had to deal with. His grace. His peace. I had to walk away from that laptop. I'm kind of glad it decided to shut me out of the program, because I was getting frustrated with it anyway. I probably should have shut it down and walked away before then, but I did. I walked away and went to my desk, did some things that don't take much concentration or thought, to kind of just chill. About 15 minutes later, I brought the computer back up, and it was all better, and so was I. And I got it all done. But it took me like an hour and a half to get that done. Shouldn't have taken me half that time. But I got it done because of Jesus. Isaiah 40:29, He gives strength to the weary. Hello, me. And and increases the power of the weak. Me again, strength for the weary. And that's the biggest thing with me, with a lot of this stuff. It isn't so much stuff is coming at me. I get tired physically, mentally. I don't want to be thinking anymore. You know what I'm saying? Um, Different things like that. I just get tired. Good evening, Pastor Paulette. Hi, Janice. Good seeing you. Hey, Bree. Good seeing you too. Um, some of my special people on here. I don't know why my messenger is going off. I apologize about that. Anyway, so I get tired, guys. I get weary when all this stuff comes at me. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. Naps, another self-care thing. So, another, you got to figure out the self-care of what's going on. And, okay. So what's going on? My daughter's fella and her oldest son were headed uh, upstate, and there were some storms going on, so she's talking her brother into keeping track of the storms so that these guys know where it's at and what to do. Anyway, so I get weary. Understand that you get weary, you get tired, and it's okay to be that. It's okay to be that, and it's perfectly and amazingly okay to rest. Yes, I know we got a lot on our plate. We got jobs, we got family, some of us have got school. Not me. I'm done with that stuff. But some of us have school, and some of us have all these things that are going on. And look, we get tired, guys. We really do. He's going to give you the strength. He is. And take care of yourself. It is God who arms me with strength and keeps my ways secure. I can attest to that coming back into town. I can attest to that through everything. He gives us the strength and the power and the ability to stay secure in each situation. 1 Chronicles 16:11, look to the Lord and his strength. Seek his face always. Oh my goodness, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Seek him always. Always. In whatever we're doing. I don't care if it's a load of dishes in the sink and you really don't want to do them. God, I really don't want to do these dishes, but could you help me? Come on, we've all been there. We didn't want to do dishes or laundry or whatever it is. We all have. Seek him. He's the one that gives us the strength to do this stuff, to live life. Life is tough. Life gets tougher some days. Some of my friends are going through some stuff. God bless them. But God's tougher. That's what I told somebody. I said, I know this is tough, but God's tougher. God's stronger. And he gives us his strength. Oh my goodness. So I don't have to do this on my own strength. What a blessing. Because quite frankly, I don't have my own strength when life comes at me hard. So, just continue to lean on him. Grab hold of his strength. Good. Now I have the hiccups. Wonderful. So, in the end, I want to encourage you, first of all, if you're struggling with the situation, I'll tell you time and again, reach out, reach out, reach out, reach out. Reach out to your doctor, your pastor, a psychologist. I don't care who it is. Reach out to somebody that's reputable that'll help you walk through your struggles together. And let them. Sometimes when we're going through a struggle, we're not so keen to let people walk with you or help you sometimes. I had a friend that when she'd come in the building and she was noticeably breathing harder, and it was noticeable that she was struggling to come in the building. I said, oh, you want me to help you here? I can take that. And she'd grab it away from me and say, no, I got it. Even though she was struggling. Don't be that. Don't be that. You don't have to struggle alone. I say this time and again, you don't have to do all this alone. Reach out first to God and then to other people. Like I said, your pastor, your doctors, your counselors, your whoever. And if they're not helping, find somebody that will help. One of my friends was started to go to a therapist, which I was thrilled about. And she didn't stay there long because that one wasn't helping her. It took her two or three times, two or three therapists, and she finally found one that's really helping her, and she's done very well with it. So, or call or text 988. They are amazing. They will help you, amazingly so. Get some help with God. Get some help that will help you walk through life. And don't be ashamed about it, because we're not supposed to do life alone. We're not meant to walk alone. That's not the way God ever. We in our United States thinking thinks we have to do everything all by ourselves. Biggest lie from the pit of hell I've ever heard. No, God created us to walk arm in arm with one another. Time and again. Time and again. Even in the Garden of Eden, before Adam and Eve messed up, they said it's not good for man to be alone. And then he created Eve. Even before sin entered the world, God said it's not good for man to be alone. Hello, still isn't. Find some people that'll be uplifting, encouraging, have great wisdom, and get you through life. Seriously. It is something you need to do. I do. I've done it. I have done it. I probably will do it again. Part of doing this ministry is part of that, sharing things with you. Share with somebody. Let them know. And then continue to reach out to God. Thank you for watching tonight. I pray this helps. Keep Friday's Hope in your prayers. Share this video if you would, please. Also, you can watch Friday's Hope YouTube channel as well for additional videos as well as tonight's video. I love you all so much. I'm so grateful that you're on. I pray you have an amazing weekend, and I pray that you just are being blessed by God. Love you all so much. God bless you.